lawsuit against Gawker over the sex video, I should say, that gossip website posted online. Today, the jury got to see video testimony from the Gawker reporter who first got the tape, and he said he thought it was very amusing and newsworthy. Gawker claims it was newsworthy because Hogan talked publicly about his sex life before, but Hogan, whose real name is Terry Bollea, says that was just part of his Hulk Hogan persona.
I'm not the same person I was before all this craziness happened. The person is sitting here today under oath, and I don't lie, under oath. It's Terry Bollea. Now, as the character, we can talk about the tripod. We can talk about, like I said, I've body slammed elephants. You know, I've surfed on tiger sharks. Those are all lies, but that's Hulk Hogan saying it, character-driven.
Does he have a case, and is it worth $100 million? Joining us now, Brian Claypool, defense attorney, and Jeff Kaplan, litigation attorney. So, Brian, first of all, what this case revolves around, or what the jury would be required to believe, is that Terry Bollea is separate from this Hulk Hogan person, and that if that human being is filmed doing a sex act, it's Terry Bollea who is harmed by it, right?
Well, John, before I even comment on that, cases like Erin Andrews and Hulk Hogan are very compelling right now because there are images posted on the internet that are permanent. They're going to be there for the rest of the lives of these victims. So it's redefining in the litigation world the amount of damages the juries are going to award. Now, talking specifically about Hogan's case, or Terry Bollea, let's focus on liability real quick, John. He has to prove in this case 4 facts. A publication, that's not a problem because we have a videotape. That it's private, that's not going to be a problem because Bollea said, I didn't consent to this. The third one is it's offensive. That won't be a problem because I think everybody would agree you don't want to be photographed having sex with somebody. The fourth one is the key one, John. That is this video something that has a public concern, that has some public value? And I would argue that Gawker's wrong here. I think Bollea's got a great argument that irrespective of whether Terry Bollea was talking about his sex life, he certainly did not invite the entire world to see him having sex with this woman.
Well, it sounds like you think he wins this case. What about you, Jeff?
He absolutely he wins on liability, yes.
I have to agree with Brian on that point. Having taken a close look at this situation, I think that the strategy being employed by Mr. Bollea's attorneys is fantastic. I think Brian hit the nail right on the head. This was a private act, which was apparently filmed without the consent of Mr. Hogan, and then disseminated. And again, considering this entire case in the context of where we find ourselves in an internet age today, the dissemination of that private video goes way beyond what I believe they're going to defend this case based on the fact that it's newsworthy. I don't think it's newsworthy. I think Gawker's in trouble. But
Brian, for instance, in the Erin Andrews case, she won $55 million, but she is a sports reporter. She is not somebody who, you know, puts herself out there, you know, as some kind of a, you know, stripper, something like that. So
right.
If Hulk Hogan is talking about his sexual exploits, as he did on the radio, does that change the equation?
Well, that's a great question, John. Now we can talk about damages. Terry Bollea is going to win the case on liability. What are his damages? His defense, or his legal team, is doing a great job of having Terry Bollea, the individual, separate himself from Hulk Hogan. Look, I grew up with Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. I mean, he was in a character for many, many years, John. Now his career's over. The character's over. So what Terry Bollea has to do is connect with this jury on a personal level and say, hey, look, my career's over. I got to live with this the rest of my life. And look, I saw that Howard Stern tape, a portion of it, John. And Terry Bollea didn't look like he was real thrilled talking about it, number one. And number two, that was in the context of him promoting his wrestling career. The career's over, and I think the jury is going to give him a pretty significant award, but not anything close to what Erin Andrews got.
Gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it there. Obviously, we'll see what the jury decides in this very strange case. Brian Claypool, Jeff Kaplan, thank you both. Thank you.